This is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roland Martinez, to use this as an educational material. By the end of this video, the viewer will be able to understand how colonialism and imperialism shape the global divide, explain how industrialization gave global North advantages in globalization, analyze economic inequalities reinforced by global trade, differentiate between Third World and Global South, understand how Latin America's experiences reshape global relations. Overview of the global North and global South in context of globalization. It is basically the classification of countries that are either developed or developing. Global North classifies as countries that are developed. Examples are US, Canada, and Australia. While the global South are countries that are developing, Philippines, and surprisingly China as well. It is the origin based in the 20th century during the Cold War. At that time, the world was divided by Russian East and American West. Countries in the East, like Russia and China, are classified as second world countries, while the American West is classified as first world. The poorer countries that followed are eventually labeled as third world. The idea was then scrapped. Then newly established categorization was put into play. What roles of global North and global South countries in globalization? The North tends to be more wealthier, is capable of exporting technologically advanced manufactured products more, while the South are poorer countries that tend to need a helping hand in the form of international aid agendas. What are the key characteristics that define these regions in a globalized world? These key characteristics include the levels of wealth, economic development, strength of democracy, and their political and economic freedom.
Colonialism spanning from the 15th to the mid-20th century saw European powers like Spain, Britain, and France expand their territories across Africa, Asia, and the Americas. This era was marked by the extraction of resources and exploitation of labor, enriching European countries while leaving colonized regions underdeveloped. In the Philippines, Spanish colonizers exploited raw materials like tobacco and sugar, exporting them to Spain for processing and sale at higher prices. This unequal economic relationship created deep inequalities that persist today, as the Philippines continues to export raw materials while importing expensive finished goods. Politically, colonial powers imposed new boundaries and centralized governance, often favoring a loyal elite. This legacy has left many post-colonial states with weak institutions and governance challenges. Culturally, colonialism imposed European languages, religions, and social norms on local populations, marginalizing indigenous cultures. The influence of Western norms continues to shape societies today. Colonialism also established global trade routes designed to benefit the colonizers, with the global South supplying raw materials and the global North controlling manufacturing and trade. This has led to persistent trade imbalances, keeping the global South economically dependent on the North. In conclusion, colonialism entrenched economic, political, and cultural structures that continue to shape global inequalities, which is critical to understanding today's North-South divide.
Imperialism, especially in the 19th and early 20th centuries, dependent global power imbalances widening the divide between the global North and the global South. European powers and the United States controlled vast territories in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. characterized by economic exploitation and political domination. This led the groundwork for economic dependency and underdevelopment in the South. Even after gaining independence, the global South struggled with economic instability and reliance on the North. These historical factors still include global inequalities, with the North benefiting the industrialization, wealth, and power stability, with the South continues to grapple with its legacies of imperialism.
Industrialization, which began in the late 18th century, significantly transformed economies of the global north, particularly in the countries like Britain, Germany, and the United States. This shift from agrarian to industrial economies, driven by technological innovations, and positioned these countries to dominate the global trade and benefit that is proportionate from the globalization. As they industrialized, these nations accumulated wealth by processing raw materials from the global south and the high-value goods, and deepening the economic disparities between the two regions.
Global trade, while a potential catalyst for economic growth, has unfortunately reinforced the economic divide between the global north and the global south. Several critical factors contribute to this inequality. First, the unequal terms of trade are heavily skewed in favor of the global north. These developed nations often set terms of trade, allowing them to benefit from the sales of high-value goods, while the global south remains dependent on exporting raw materials. These arrangement subjects countries in the global south to commodity price volatility, making their economies vulnerable to global market fluctuation. Another contributing factors is limited transfer of technology and knowledge from the global north to global south. The global north controls most advanced technologies, which stifles the development of competitive industries in the south. As a result, nations in global south remain dependent on importing manufactured goods, further increasing their economic reliance on the north. Additionally, the heavily debt burden carried by many southern countries exacerbates these disparities. But structural adjustment programs imposed by international finance institutions such as the IMF, the World Bank, often force these countries to implement austerity measures. These measures typically reduce social spending, leading to weakened healthcare, education, social service, thereby worsening economic inequalities. The environmental exploitation of the global south for raw materials and cheap labor further limits its economic development. The extraction of natural resources degraded local environment, while the benefits primarily flow to the global north. In conclusion, while global trade could theoretically benefit of both regions, the current system is tilted in the favor of the developed world, perpetuating the economic divide and reinforcing existing inequalities.
Post-colonial economies in the global south remain dependent on exporting raw materials while importing manufactured goods, leading to unfavorable trade terms. Efforts to develop often result in debt, limiting economic freedom. International organizations like the IMF and the World Bank have imposed structural adjustment programs requiring privatizations and reduced social spending, This has been weakened essential services like healthcare and education while widening economic inequality. Neocolonialism persists as international organizations and foreign powers continue to influence domestic policies. Trade agreements favor wealthier nations, eroding sovereignty in the global south. Globalizations often reinforce these inequalities, limiting the autonomy of sovereign countries.
Reanalyzing the North-South divide, key global economic indicators reveal the stark disparities between the global North and global South. One of the most telling metrics is GDP per capita, which illustrates the significant income gap between these regions. The global North, encompassing developed countries like the United States, Europe, and parts of Asia, enjoys much higher incomes compared to the global South, which includes much of Africa, Latin America, and Asia. This economic divide is also reflected in the Human Development Index, which measures life expectancy, education, and income. Countries in the global North consistently score higher due to better healthcare system, educational infrastructure, and overall living standards. Another important metric is income inequality, represented by the Gini coefficient. The global South typically experiences higher level of income inequality, with wealth concentrated in the hands of a few. This economic inequality limits social mobility and traps many in poverty, reinforcing the gap between the North and South. Similarly, foreign direct investment patterns highlight the divide. The global North attracts more investment, particularly in high-value industries like technology and finance, while the global South often receives investment in resource-based sectors, which do not provide the same long-term economic growth. Trade balances also reveal an ongoing disparity. The global North predominantly export high-value goods, benefiting from advanced industries, while the global South is often restricted to exporting raw materials. This dependence on low-value export levels that global South more vulnerable to price fluctuation and global market shift. Lastly, access to technology services as another key indicator. The global North benefits from advanced digital infrastructure, which foster innovation and economic growth, whereas the global South faces a persistent digital divide, limiting its ability to fully engage in the global economy. In summary, these global economic indicators reveal the extent to which the North-South divide continues to shape global inequalities. Understanding these metrics is essential to addressing the imbalances and working toward a more equitable global economic system.
The term third world, global south, are often used interchangeably to describe developing countries. They have different origins and meanings. Understanding the evolution of these terms help us appreciate the complex global dynamics at play. The term third world originated during the Cold War in the 1950s. It was used to describe countries that were not aligned with either the capitalist First World led by the United States or the communist Second World led by the Soviet Union. These were primarily newly independent nations in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, many of which were recovering from colonial rule. Over time, Third World became seen as an outdated or oversimplified term. It grouped together diverse range of countries under one label, ignoring the significant differences in their economics, political, and social context. Additionally, it began to carry negative connotation, implying that these nations were somehow inferior or underdeveloped. To address this issue, the term Global South emerged as more accurate and respectful way to describe these countries. Unlike Third World, which is rooted in Cold War politics, Global South focuses on geographic and economic factors. It includes countries in Latin America, Africa, Asia, and Oceania that share common challenges like poverty, equality, and legacy of colonialism. The term also reflects the global economic and political shift in the late 20th and 21st century. While Third World was a useful term during the Cold War, it was largely being replaced by Global South, which better captures the diversity and complexity of developing nations today. This shift in terminology reflects a broader effort to understand and address the unique challenges faced by these countries in a globalized world.
Latin America offers a unique perspective in understanding global relations within the context of globalization. Historically, these countries were classified as part of the Third World, but their experiences have shaped a new understanding of global interactions, challenging traditional North-South dynamics. For much of the 20th century, Latin American nations struggled with economic dependency on the global North. Largely, a result of their colonial past, these countries were often viewed through the lens of poverty, underdevelopment, and political instability. Common traits associated with the term Third World. However, as globalization progressed, Latin American countries began to assert their agency in the global economy. A key example of this shift is Brazil, which played a leading role in the BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Recent collision has aimed challenging economic dominance of the global north by forming new trade alliances and advocating for multipolar world. Where global concentrated in solely southern nations, American countries promoted regional integration through organizations like Mercosur and the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC. These efforts focus on strengthening economic ties within the region to reduce dependency on other powers, illustrating their evolving conception of global relations. Latin American experience also contributed to the rise of the term Global South, which replaced an outdated Third World label. The term Global South better reflects the diverse political, economics, and social context of developing nations. Countries like Mexico and Chile, for example, have since steadily grown and become more integrated into the global economy. Further complicating the nation of underdeveloped that was traditionally applied to the Third World nations. In summary, Latin America has played a crucial role in reshaping global relations by challenging traditional North-South divides. Through economic alliances like BRICS and regional integration, Latin American countries continue to push a more balanced and multipolar world, further illustrating the evolving and complex nature of globalization in the Global South. That concludes our topic. Thank you very much.